Hey guys, what's going on? Jake here, and welcome back to another episode of the F124 Driver Career Mode here in Season 2 with Aston Martin. And last time out, we had a second mechanical failure in a row in the Miami GP, which means we are now up to 2 DNFs and 1 race win this season so far. So this season has been very, very unlucky, I would say. But you never know. I did Aston Martin low-key reliability issues, especially on my car. Alonso's finished every single race. Not done as well as me. Still behind me in the championship, considering I've finished one race. So, maybe Aston Martin don't like the fact that their big boy that are paying all the big bucks is not doing better than me. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But it's now time for the Emilia-Romagna, or the Imola Grand Prix, here in Italy. And this is a track that I normally go quite well around. But the straight is very overpowered for AI straight line speed. So it's going to be one of those where we need to make sure that we push hard in Sector 2 to break away from the AI, try break DRS, and then make them fight. And then we should be able to pull away. So obviously getting pole is a key part of that. I'm not taking anything but a race victory here at a track where I'm really good. We are now the second best team. And it's the same weather conditions as last year. There is meant to be rain at the end. And last year we risked it, went on hards for 30 laps. And then the rain never came until the last lap. And, yeah, we just wasted a whole race, finished 18th, but got no points. So is that going to happen again? Well, we'll have to wait and see, because I was thinking in my mind, do I just try the same strategy again? And then I just thought about it again. I was like, well, we've got one of the quickest cars now, so surely we could just do a normal strategy and just do it a normal strategy with inters in it, surely. So, yeah. But obviously first we did practice. I think we simmed every single session and then changed a few components afterwards because I just couldn't be bothered. I'd already done a 50% race of practice around here and I felt quite good, so I just wanted to get in and I wanted to get racing. So into qualifying we go. So Q1, first lap of Q1. This track is yeah, it's meant to be a good one for me. So I was actually low-key looking forward to this. Obviously, this is my first lap with this car because I didn't do practice, obviously. So this is the first time I'm driving this car around the circuit. So, will this lap be any good or anywhere near what I do by the end of the session? Probably not. But we're hoping to still get through Q1 with just the one lap anyway. Also, I've just realised that real F1 practice is on right now. So let's whack that on. Here we go. Kimi Antonelli's is meant to be in the seat, isn't he? Colapinto's in there. Lovely. And Antonelli. There we go. But yeah. But Q1 went quite well. We ended up getting P9. We finished just behind Alonso by like literally 17 thousandths. So into Q2 we go. We need a solid lap. If we can set a solid lap, we'll be through to Q3. And we're going to try to do it with just the one run. So here we go. Here we go down towards turn 1. This is a long straight. This is normally where the AI gain about 7 tenths on you with DRS and slipstream, because the AI has nowhere else to dump their ERS at this circuit, so you just do it on the main straight every lap. But we take that first sector quite nicely, maybe a little bit too tight to that left-hander that we just went through there. And now this one, you can normally take this first part flat, but we do the slightest of lifts, and then we're able to make it nicely for the second part. And then through this bit here, we're going to take this rather nicely, actually, I believe. And then we just need to get on power nice and early, get a good run up through to this long left-hander, which is normally quite a challenging corner. We take it relatively alright. You can probably take it a bit nicer than that, but it's not bad. This has been quite a solid lap so far. And we come up now towards my best part of the circuit. This right-hander, we have a bit of a slide, maybe a tenth there, and then through to this chicane, which if we can full send it, there'll be a lot of time here. And we just about do. Very, very nicely taken through that chicane. Hardly even a corner cut. And now we come round to the final quarter sector. If you can hook this final sector up, you'll have a very, very good lap on your hands. We go a little bit wide there, though, lose a bit of time. Probably about 4 tenths on this current lap that we lost. I could see where that would be. And we set a 14.2, and Verstappen set a 13.6. But in the end, that's still somehow enough for P3. But we should have been only about a tenth and a half, 2 tenths off Max Verstappen anyways. But unfortunately, we made those mistakes. So into Q3, our first lap of Q3. Again, the final lap we do in Q3, I will leave that completely to you guys. We set a purple first sector, but run really wide at this corner. There'll be time to find there in the second lap. And here we come now through to the middle sector, my normal strongest sector. We take that much nicer than we did in Q2. And through to this sector, we need to get tighter to that right-hander and then get on the power early, and we do. That is beautiful. And now through to the chicane. Normally you do need to send it. Can we send it? Yes, it looks like we will. Look at that. That is beautiful. We go run a little bit wide, but it doesn't really matter, but it's a lovely little send. Russell setting a 13.7. Here we come now towards the final corners. Can we get on the brakes? Can we make this corner again? Probably time to find in that corner. And then in the final corner, take it quite nicely. So up to the line. It's going to be it's going to be provisional pole position with a 13.5. So let's see what we can do with our final run in Q3. And in the end, guys, it's a 2.5% improvement. You probably did see a few corner cuts in there, but it solidifies pole position. But those corner cuts, we did end up losing time afterwards anyway. So it was about probably one of the best laps we could do in terms of time. Maybe a bit of time here and there, but in the end, it's easily going to get us pole by almost half a second. So there's not really much to complain about. And for the race, the conditions are still the same. There's supposed to be rain at the end. So yeah, let's see what actually happens. This is going to be an interesting one. Checo and Fernando, 5th and 6th, and myself and George Russell are going to be on the front row. So P1 and P2 for myself and George. Verstappen not even setting a good lap as he did in Q2, but I'm wondering that if he had, maybe he'd used too many tyres or something, but I don't know. And the strategy is very simple. We're going to do medium hards. We're not going to try risk the hards all the way to the rainy conditions, because what if it doesn't get wet enough to even go to inters like it did last season, and we mess up and we bottle what could be an easy race win, considering we have the considerable amount of pace. But no formation lap this time out. That clip broke. So it's 5 red lights for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. We've got a 0.1 grid slot, and it's 5 lights out, and away we go here in Imola. And it looks like George Russell's got a way better start. And here comes Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari as well, looking around my outside. It looks like he's going to get us around the outside. George blocks off the inside, so we can't send it back on him. Sainz soars around the outside and into the lead of the race momentarily. That was a bold move from Sainz. I respect it. But he gets squeezed out by Russell. He can't keep the position. Sainz trying to make a move on Russell. Leaves gap around the outside. We make contact. But we're going to send it back up the inside. Contact again. But not enough to cause any damage. Luckily. And on lap 2, coming on to lap 3. We're still behind George Russell. We still have Carlos Sainz in behind, but we are considerably closer to Russell than Sainz is to us. And even with the overpowered straight line speed of the AI, setting a fastest lap is a statement. And we are going to make another statement here by overtaking the Mercedes of George Russell and taking the lead at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix into turn 1. Easy move. Bang. Lap 3, P1. But it's not going to be all roses, as on the end of that lap, Russell is still with us. And although he is half a second back, which on most tracks coming onto the main straight would be enough for you to keep the lead, around here, I've even managed to increase that gap to 7 tenths on the exit of the corner. And it's still not going to be enough, as you're about to see. As even though we do set another fastest lap of the race, that then gets beaten by Lewis Hamilton further down the order. And here comes George Russell out of nowhere. We've not used any ERS, I know, but I shouldn't really have to when I'm 7 tenths clear of this driver behind, but we are able to defend it quite easily and keep P1. But lap 5, about to come on to lap 6. Let's see what we can do against George Russell again, and this time Carlos Sainz is even closer to George, and it's going to be potentially a three-way fight here, because here comes, and Verstappen's making his way up the order as well. I think he might still be P4, not moved up to P4, but Alonso is P5. And it looks like George is we're just gonna let him go, which is fair enough. But then our team are like, okay, you are quicker than him. Just try to get ahead of him. So we're gonna listen to the team. We're gonna trust the team's word that if we get in front of him, the clean air will be able to pull away, and we're gonna attempt to overtake George Russell. So we've got quite close to him in the final sector. We need a good exit, but It's not the best of exits. We're going to have to ERS dump. Luckily, we were able to save up a full battery of ERS for this main straight to try and re-overtake the Mercedes driver. Here we come. Are we going to go inside? Are we going to go outside? It looks like George is going to easily defend the inside, so we're going to go around the outside comfortably. A little bit of a wobble, but we just squeeze him out and re-overtake George into P1 on lap 7 of the Grand Prix. Now on to lap 8. About to come on to lap 9 on the end of this lap. We are coming through this sector. We take it absolutely wonderfully, but it's not enough to drop George by enough, and George is still right behind us. So we're still going to have work to do here to defend from George Russell, and he's so close to us. And now we need an absolutely superb exit if we're going to have any chance of staying ahead. And we've had a slide, we've had a moment. That is going to be curtains maybe for P1, maybe even P2. But we let George through. We tried to squeeze him out. But here comes Carlos Sainz as well. We need to tuck him behind George to get his slipstream. We're going to use overtake. But here comes Carlos Sainz looking to take the lead. Russell and I box Sainz in. And we are able to re-overtake Sainz. But it's not enough to get P1. We are not able to do that just yet. But on lap 10 of the Grand Prix, the end of that previous lap onto the start of the new one, we're going to come round the outside of George. And we're going to re-overtake George to retake the lead of the Grand Prix, making easy passes. We're not relying on a DRS train to stick with the leader. We are simply being the victim of a DRS train ourselves. And on lap 12, we have decided the tyre wear is too much, so we'll be boxing technically on lap 13, because you do cross the finish line before you come in. So technically on lap 13, we're going to be coming in for our one and only, potentially, if it doesn't rain enough, pit stop. This could also be the first of two. So in we come for the hard tyres. I've got a feeling that if the rain were to come, we box now, we could do the full race maybe on hards. But my engineer was telling me around this time that it would be 5 to 10 minutes until rain, and then he tells me it's 15. So I was thinking, I was like, oh, if I'd have started on hard, I would have been able to go straight to the rain period. Not the case. Not the case. Don't worry. It was never going to happen in the end. But we are now on lap 14. We've done a decent little out lap. It's not been the best lap I've ever done, but it's solid enough, and we need to try come out of the cars that we were already ahead of. So Russell, Verstappen, Alonso and Sainz. Those are the drivers we really need to be keeping an eye on. So we are going to undercut our teammate and Verstappen. So we are ahead of both of those guys, and I think the gap before was only 2 seconds. It's now 6 seconds to those cars, and there is a yellow flag up ahead, and I wonder what for. It looks like it is the kick Sauber of Zhou Guanyu, who is around, and that is going to cause a safety car. That's going to cause a safety car, and that's not good, because only half of the lead pack had pit. That means that still, out of the top 5, that Perez and Russell were still out there, and they still hadn't pit. I know they were fighting, so it might have cost them time, but this could allow them to overcut me with this safety car. It should allow them to overcut me with the safety car, unless I push really hard and risk a penalty, which is what we're going to do. We're not going to risk it too much, though. We're just going to push as hard as we can, coming across the line. I know that it will go, this delta, if I get across the line, so I just send it eventually, and I get across the line. Can we squeeze out ahead of Sergio Perez and George Russell? Here they come. Can we squeeze out ahead? Just about. As they were about to exit the pit lane, we squeeze ahead and are able to keep the lead. So now we have the lead under the safety car, but our tyres have gone super cold behind the safety car. I completely forgot that may be an issue. So now as the safety car comes in, we've got ice cold tyres. There's nothing we can do to heat them up other than drive laps. So these first few laps are going to be painful unless we can force a fight between the AI cars. This could be shambles, but we need a good restart. We've already activated overtake, but we're just going to wait for our moment. We're going to wait till the exit of the corner where I can full send it and they can't, and then we're going to go. So we get to the exit of the corner and we floor it. We get a bit of wheel spin, but we get away well, and we are able to pull out 6 more temps. We are going to pull out even more time on George Russell, and by the end of the straight, because we've got such a better exit than all of the AI, it's going to be almost a second gained from that safety car restart, which is absolutely superb. So we went from having probably a 6-second gap to the cars behind to now a second gap. So let's see if we can work on it, build on it, and increase it even more. On lap 19, that gap is still 1.2, but it's Sergio Perez now in the Red Bull, the car that is the only car that is quicker than us. That is the car behind us now. So if we make any mistakes like we just did, we are going to get punished for it by a rapid Red Bull car. And Perez, he's got pace, he's back within the DRS. We're going to have to try make him pull, well, we're going to have to try get him out through this middle sector. And this is going to be crucial for the race now, to see Perez out of our DRS by the end of this lap. Let's see what we can do. We try push it hard. The hards, though, they're not gripping up yet. They're still not up to full temperature. If we're on 50 degrees, we need to work hard. But we cut the corner and get a 3-second penalty trying to get Perez out of DRS. And it's cost us now. We have that 3-second penalty. We get the fastest lap a few laps later, but we now have a 3-second time penalty. And I'm hoping that it was worth it because we got Perez out of DRS. Maybe the AI will fight. And now we have over 3 seconds of gap. So now it's all looking fine and dandy in this race. It looks like potentially we could cruise home to a win as the AI are going to keep fighting. Now Piastri on the mediums because he started on hards. Both McLarens did. They always do. Into P2. And now let's check what the weather is saying. Well, eventually, let's check what the weather is saying. It's going to be... Oh, it started to rain. It has started to rain, ladies and gentlemen. It's now started raining with 6 laps to go. And 2 laps later, as you can see, the rain is getting significantly heavier. This is now probably still dry conditions, but we are sliding all over the place. And our gap has increased in the changeable conditions. Our gap gets bigger, and DRS has now been disabled. If we are going to box, we should box now. And that is the first mistake I make, because instead of boxing on this lap, we wait till the next lap to box in. And that cost us from having a 5-second gap over the cars behind to now only a 3-second gap. We lost 2 seconds on that last lap because of how hard the conditions were to drive in. But we are now boxing for Inters, and it looks like nobody else will. So now we need to re-overtake about 13, 14 cars. And we need to gain a 3-second gap on Sergio Perez or George Russell, whoever's leading. But here we go. Let's get this mission underway. I'm not going to show you every single undertake, but the first 2 are going to come quite quickly here. The Inters, it's clearly Inters conditions, but it's too late in the race. The AI are going to be too stubborn to pit. A flaw in the AI's programming. We're going to exploit it, and these guys are not going to pit. We're just going to fly around the outside of them all. Even if they did pit now, Perez and Russell, I've already gained about 5 seconds on them, so they'd be out behind me. There's no point. They may as well risk it. Try to stay ahead of me. But here we go. We've overtaken even more cars on that lap as well. And now we are catching up to my old teammate Nico Hülkenberg and the McLaren of Lando Norris on the mediums. Probably struggling even more because the hards will have more grip still in the wet conditions. They'll have more tyre on them than the mediums will, having those excessive wear, especially on lap 31 or 32. So Norris is really struggling here. And we are just going to easily on these Inters. Well, I mean... We find a new way to overtake him, but it's still not been called illegal, so we will take that, and we're going to send it down the inside of Leclerc, and now we are on the last lap, but we are only in P7. We need to overtake 6 cars and pull 3 seconds in a lap. Can we do it? We're going to overtake Hamilton really quickly, and then down the straight, we've got our teammate Fernando Alonso. Hopefully, he makes life easy for us and allows us through. We have a chance of winning this race if Alonso is going to let us through, which I don't know if he will. But it doesn't matter because we're going to send it anyway. We can break so much later than Alonso. He jumps out the way for us. Thank you, Fernando. And now we can maybe get Piastri on exit. And it looks like we will. And then we will get Verstappen later in that lap. But what is important now is the fact that we are behind Carlos Sainz and behind Sergio Perez. Can we win this race? We go down the inside of Sainz. We've only merely got this straight and 2 more corners to go. We need to get past Perez. What are you doing? Activate your overtake. We are into the lead of the race. Can we pull 3 seconds in 2 corners? Can we do it? Will we be able to win this Grand Prix? It's all going to come down to the performance of the car through these final 2 corners. Nice. Can we take this one nicely as well? Yes, we can. Do we have enough time to get up to the line and win this Grand Prix? Can we do it? It doesn't look like we will, but can we? I don't think we did. I don't think we did. Did we? Did we win the Grand Prix? No, Perez pips us to it. We at least get P2. But it's now glaringly obvious that that 3-second penalty and not boxing a lap earlier has really cost us the win in this Grand Prix.
What a day, what a driver. It's victory for Sergio Perez.
You always look back at a race like this and think, if I'd just made that mistake there or looked up here, there would have been contact. And every one of those overtakes is a moment where you have to absolutely nail it, perfect it, and that's exactly what they're able to do today. Great stuff indeed.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race.
Yep, that is disappointing to not win that race. It was 7 tenths in the end. We only just actually managed to squeeze Carlos Sainz out by about 3 tenths. So, in the end, we only just actually get P2. We could have had P3. And in the end, the reason why we didn't win that race is A, the 3 second penalty, and B, the fact that we didn't box a lap earlier when DRS was disabled. We thought we could do it. We lost 2 seconds from staying out that extra lap, plus it was into condition anyway. We would have gained probably another 10. We could have won that race comfortably by about 10 seconds if we wanted to. But we made a mistake in the strategy call. We also got the 3 second time penalty, and that is what has cost us the race win in Imola. But it is what it is. It's a positive sign. We're up there. No mechanical failures, no mechanical faults. Just an error in strategy today is what has cost us. But we can move on from that. The next race, I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Canada. So I've got a bit of optimism for Canada. I think we won did we win the Canadian Grand Prix last season? I think we did quite well, at least, in the Canadian Grand Prix last season in Haas. So in an Aston Martin, I know it's on higher AI being 105, but surely we've got some good pace around Canada, and surely we will have a good race. But we have some upgrades to come on potentially before the Canadian Grand Prix, so let's see how many of those will come on. Unfortunately, though, one of our aero upgrades failed. We're going to try get that re-on before Canada. I think that's a major rear downforce, which is something our car is really poor at. But first upgrade comes on, it's an engine upgrade, and then we get some more points, and then the energy store cells positioning on the chassis fails. Alonso's upgrade fails, unfortunately. But how much is that going to cost? Are we going to potentially be able to rebuy it, or are we going to have to wait? We're going to have to wait until after practice of the Canadian Grand Prix. But we do get on that reapplied upgrade before the Canadian Grand Prix, which does mean now that we are even closer to Red Bull than we were before. So that is going to be all for this Emilia-Romagna Imola GP. Unfortunately, that safety car didn't really help us that much. It cost us probably a bit of time that we would have got on the undercut. And then we made the gap anyway, bottled it by staying out a lap extra. So we're going to have to redeem ourselves again next time.